right. Tech as we go. That's my new motto. We're not going to check it as we go. We're going to tech it as we go. Hi, Elaine Marolakos Edelson with Astrology Mojo. And I want to help you get your mojo back with transformational astrology and all the stuff that I talk about. And it's been quite a 35 minutes here in my office trying to get all the tech stuff going and the color stuff and the everything. Welcome, the Mercury in retrograde. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Leah. Hi, Kate. Okay, I'm just going to take a sip and settle down. And I sang and my dog came running over. Like, are we going to play? All right, we're going to be talking about the Mercury in retrograde coming up in July. But first, who's here? Come say hello to me. And when's your birthday? What sign are you? I could feel it already. And the data and the tech. And my husband's going to be coming in and adjusting lighting and such. Because, I was totally grayed out before with orange lipstick. And I don't have orange lipstick on. So that's pretty cool, right? That we have all this technology and then we learn how to use it. And then comes the Mercury in retrograde. And then we have to relearn how to use it and retrain our computer. So we're going to be talking about, before I even start, we are going to be talking about the Mercury in retrograde coming up, yes. But let me just say this if you're new to me and or my work, and that is that the planets don't make you do anything. We live in a cooperation with the cosmos. And so when the planets make a move, I can see reflection now, which I didn't used to see reflection. Anyway. When the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that in the heavens. Mirror, mirror on the cosmic wall. Here we are. What's happening in the world? What's happening? What was that movie I saw? The Kid. Disney movie long ago. With my husband's almost look-alike. Can you guess who that is? What actor that is? He used to be, and I think maybe now is remarried to Demi Moore. Giving it away. Anyway, The Kid, where he sees himself as a child, and the kid is sitting in the car with him, and the adult has just fallen apart. And the kid says, "What happened to you?" Yeah, what happened? I don't know. I'm looking at these colors. My wall is actually a beautiful blue color. That looks great. I'm going to have to just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. What are we talking about? Mercury in retrograde pre-phase, when your perception, is off. When the thing that you think is true is not. When the thing that you never realized is true makes itself known to you. So when I look at Mercury, the planet itself, it's not doing anything to you, but our collective experience of perceptions, beliefs, expression, yes, because Mercury represents how we communicate, but the communication starts in here first, right? Always. And in here. And so if you've got a lot of technical stuff going on in your world, like I did this morning, it can really scatter your thoughts like it did for me 3 minutes ago. So when we look at what happens in a Mercury experience, we're looking at perceptions first, how you fire synapses, what you truly believe, and then comes the verbal expression. So when we take Mercury, which is the planet that represents our communication and our style of learning as well, and small trips and siblings, but basically Mercury, thinking, perceiving, understanding, differentiating, discerning. And then we add the sign that it's in. So you might want to write this down. Between July 7th through the 18th, Mercury will be retrograde in the sign of Leo. Now, well, I'll talk about that in a second. And then from July 18th through the 31st, Mercury will be retrograde in the sign of Cancer. So these are two completely different expressions, perceptions, experiences. Not to say that everyone's going to be feeling or thinking the same thing. No, not at all. But it's like a mood lighting. Remember, folks, astrology basically tells you what time it is. That's what it does. And if you can understand where Mercury will be retrograde in your chart in the sign of Leo, then you can understand where you need to alter, or how I like to put it is to review, renegotiate, renew, and or release perceptions. Now, when any planet goes retrograde, it is, what is that Sasha just posted? Peekaboo, hello. When any planet goes retrograde, it's always about moving inward, looking in, seeing who you are, how you feel, what you believe, and how you want to approach life from that position. Now, when Mercury is retrograde, in the pre-phase, we start to see little bitty signs of things not going as planned, or as such as the computer, might glitch, or as in with my one program, I opened it up this morning and certain things were missing and I couldn't find them, but yet they kept telling me they were there. So there's a miscommunication. And so in that miscommunication, sometimes we believe we understand something. That's one way of perceiving a Mercury in retrograde pre-phase. Then what happens is suddenly it works its way in there and we see the truth, a truth, and nothing but the truth for you. And so how can that apply to everyday life? So now coming back to Mercury in the sign of Leo. Leo is a leadership energy, and it's very dynamic, gregarious, and it's it can be focused on entertainment or education and dealing with kids and art and all that kind of stuff. But primarily, when Mercury's in the sign of Leo, even though it's retrograde, there's an optimism, a feeling of support, and or looking for support, and or renegotiating that idea of what support means. Now, Leo, the sign of Leo, is a fire sign, and it also helps you to that energy itself. If you've got it in your chart, or if the sun is moving through the sign of Leo, it shows an energy of excitement and enthusiasm and unending energy. It's just a tireless kind of energy. So if you were born with a Mercury in retrograde and or born with a Mercury in Leo, you're really going to feel keyed up, fired up to get that thing done, even though it's a retrograde. And so then you're going to be guided to, I remember long ago, I used to listen to certain music when I cleaned off my desk, or when I was writing, or, when I was performing, or when I was teaching. And that music actually might come back. Why? Because a retrograde literally means to step back. And so things from your past return. Who's to say what in Leo? Could be something dramatic. It could be art. Could be music. Could be something that you learned long ago, and you have the, my husband uses all these composition notebooks when he goes to workshops. It could be something that falls out of the closet. And you say, oh my gosh, I took that course 17 years ago or whatever. Let me just, leaf through it. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know I knew that, or I wrote that. And so information will be coming back to you. Now, what you do with that information, of course, is based on who you are and your perception of life. And you may think, yeah, I'm done. That's the release part. And you throw it out, you donate it, you shred it, you recycle it, whatever it is. So as we look at the pre-phase, we're already beginning to see little moments of these things. So it's a really good idea that if you need to get an oil change or upgrade your computer, that it's done very soon. If not, wait till August. That's my recommendation. Now, nothing horrible will befall you. It just sometimes gets a little more confusing when you install something in your computer or a new app in your phone, and then we leave the retrograde, and then it doesn't work. And then you just have to redo it. RE is the redoing, renewing, renegotiating, reconsidering, releasing, that's the retrograde experience. Now, I'm going to show you what Leo looks like. And ta-da, there's Leo. Looks like a fancy person with a big hairdo. And that's the Leo glyph in astrology. Now, if you don't know where Leo is in your chart, you can definitely, Dean's going to post a link, but you can go to astrologylifechart.com. And I have made, and once you get your free chart, you want to watch the personal video that I made just for your sun sign. And it's going to help you understand your sun sign and get more in depth about who you are and your talents and possible challenges. Also, once you see your birth chart, you'll be able to, and it comes with glyphs, so you can, mix and match and see where things are in your chart. And then you can see where Mercury in retrograde will be transiting through your life and what it might have to do with. So once we get through the Mercury in retrograde in Leo, and I would say between it's getting closer and closer as we near the actual date of July 7th. And today is July 7th. Today is June 17th. So we're already in that pre-phase energy, and we might feel distracted. But where we go when Mercury is in Leo is sometimes a very educational place where we look to empower ourselves. And it can get a little melodramatic sometimes. If you have melodrama in your life, it doesn't mean that the planet makes it happen. It means that you have something to clear up. So you have to review, renew, renegotiate, or release. So if someone comes back from your past and you're thinking, oh, I used to work with that person and I kind of like them, but something, I don't know, that's where you want to review. Is this person meant to be in your world? Why are they back? Some part of you was not complete with that person. And that deals with data, people, situations, issues, even books that you might not have finished reading. They just sit in the corner and you have a bookmark somewhere, and then you got distracted and you say, oh my gosh, yeah, I love that book. I'm going to go back. And then you start rereading and saying, I wasn't ready for it at the time, but I saw the movie first and now I'm ready for the book. Excuse me again. So it's important that you understand your perception and what it's showing you. I don't know where this dryness is coming from. Oh, wait, I live in Arizona. There it is. And it's only 90 degrees outside. Hey, what time is it? Yeah. When I wake up in the morning at 6 a.m., and if I see that the temperature is 70 degrees, I know we're going to be in for a hot day. Okay. Oh, also with Mercury in the sign of Leo, what happens sometimes is you might experience spine or back issues and or emotional support issues. And always, emotional support begins with you and what's going on the inside. So you want to support yourself as much as possible. So in places where you used to rely on other people, you might want to say to yourself, you know what? I keep looking to them for the solution. How about me? How about I look in the mirror and say, I love who I am. I'm ready to be more of who I am. And I want to support me in better ways. So let's look at supporting ourselves emotionally more in a Mercury in retrograde in Leo. Now what happens? And who's here? Does anybody know where their Mercury is in their chart. And I've got my happy cards. Listen, you're all Mojo Mystics. You are. You're learning how to get your energy back, your mojo back, your awareness back, so that or to increase it, so that you can create what you want in life. And that's a beautiful thing, don't you think? I'm still looking at my image on my computer screen. It looks like I have bright orange lipstick, and I really don't. Okay. All right, now we're going to move into Mercury in retrograde in Cancer. Hey, Annie's here. Hi. Mercury in retrograde in Leo is a much more optimistic experience, I have found. And especially if you have any planets in the sign of Leo, this is going to bring you to a greater awareness. Of course, it depends on what the planets are, the relationship to one another by degree. But in general, if you have any Leo planets in your chart, and it's okay if you don't, you're still going to feel this. But if you do, you'll have a greater perception of what it is that truly matters, and how you want to organize that optimism around something that you're passionate about. Now, when we move, Jen says, my Mercury is in Aries. So this is going to trine you, and you'll have a much more energetic experience than some other people who might just want to hibernate, And so then we move from Mercury in retrograde in Leo right into Mercury retrograde in Cancer. Now, Cancer, oh, by the way, here's the glyph of Cancer. Oh, and if you're just joining, let me go back. This is Leo. Hello, Leo. How are you? Okay. And Mercury, let's see if I can get my glyph to work. My glyph's not working. Okay, we're going to move it up. No, it's not working. It doesn't want to work. I'm trying to move it. Move it to the top. Oh my gosh, it's huge. This is what's been going on for me all day long with all these glyphs. Okay, this is what Mercury in retrograde looks like. Mercury, the planet of communication and perceptions. Also siblings, short journeys, and how you perceive and learn. Okay? Now here's Cancer. And the glyph of Cancer is representational of the crab, where Leo, the lion, and Cancer, the crab. Now, when Mercury is retrograde in Cancer, it's you're going to feel this transition. You're going to feel like a bump in the road when we go from approximately July 16th through the 20th. You'll feel this if you're paying attention. And it's going to be more like I haven't stopped talking for 4 weeks, and now I just need to shut my mouth. I got nothing to say. I just need to get quiet and don't talk to me. I need to find a water fountain or a pool or an ocean, or I'm taking an extra shower. And I just need to mull it over. So when we move from Mercury in Leo retrograde to Mercury retrograde in Cancer, it's going to be a much more profound time. Now, on top of that, we have the Cancer solar eclipse and then the lunar eclipse at the same time that Mercury is moving into Cancer. We're going to have the lunar eclipse move into Capricorn. This is going to be a very introspective time for a lot of people. And it's also going to be a time of looking at your past regrets. And it's going to be hard not to feel them. Sometimes we look back, and we go, yeah, I didn't finish that, but that's okay. I can always take it up again. But in the month of July, what many people might start to experience is, oh my gosh, I never finished that thing. And I've run out of time, and I'll never be able to do it again. And who am I now? And I just, and then you're looking for the medication or something to tone down the emotion. So let me entertain you. Let me make you smile. Jazz hands. Okay. ahead of time, here's something you can do, and always check with your healthcare professionals. I do not prescribe. I do not claim to cure. I do not say anything that is medically blah, blah, blah. So, but if you're having a rough emotional time, let's look toward food and amino acids and things that you can do to help yourself feel better. Number one, and you can get these now brand chewable. It's called GABA GABA. I know it sounds like I think it's a cartoon show also. But chewable GABA GABA helps the neurotransmitters in your brain to settle down, feel a little bit more optimistic. Yeah. L-theanine. I now use a brand. I used to use the now brand chewables, which you let them melt on your tongue as you're going to sleep, and it's nice and relaxed and you feel good. These are amino acids. So that's why I say check with your healthcare professionals, do this research on your own. Just make sure that you're okay with all these amino acids. And I don't see why you wouldn't be, but because they're not toxic and you can't OD, and unless you have something very medically specific that says do not take these things. Cool. But now for L-theanine, I do the drops, and they work much faster, and they just bring down the noise. That's all. It's a calming thing. Also, ashwagandha. I take the powder form. It's most potent. It is an adaptogen, so it will travel through your body and find out where you need help the most. And it literally helps the adrenals reduce cortisol, and it's got so many amazing things that it does. Ashwagandha, and a teaspoon in the morning, a teaspoon at night, and it brings it down. So I'm talking about the energies that are just starting to build, and we're going to get closer and closer. At first, it's going to feel like, I'm so high. I feel great. I got all this stuff done, or I'm enthusiastic about what has to get done. And then as we go through the first half of July, we're still riding that high, and then suddenly, it feels like somebody took the air out of everything. Now, your experience may be completely different. Please do tell. Come and talk to me about it. And but just in case you happen to feel like, I saw a commercial a long time ago for a country song with this cowboy just kind of standing there with a 10-gallon hat, and he was singing, "Stop the world, I want to get off." I mean, it was hysterical. But anyway, that's how it's going to feel. Like, you're like, oh yeah, I'm done. I can't do this. I want to be alone, go away. So my recommendation is that for the month of July, that if you've got things to plan, especially family get-togethers where all the traumas and wounds are held in picnic baskets and quiet undertones. If you gotta, you gotta. And but save the second half of the month for contemplation, for private vacations, even if that just means you stay at home and turn off the telephone, because the spin is going to get big. And it's not, spin is not negative or positive. It's energy. But there's going to be a lot of energy cycling through the month of July, and it starts now. And then there's going to be everyone else's energy on top of that. And so it can get a lot. It can feel like a lot, but it can also be very inspiring. Because Cancer, not only is it a nurturing kind of energy, but it also represents food and finances and women's and children's issues. For physically, it deals with the breasts, the chest if you're a man, and the stomach in anyone. So these might be topics that are going to come forward for you to renew, to review, to renegotiate, and or release, right? So that's the whole gig in any Mercury in retrograde. Oh, Jen says, I'm feeling that. Yeah. Busy, huh? So calm down, really. That's the whole key, is just to go a little slower, watch some comedy. We're watching over and over again. Nate Bargatze on Netflix. We first saw him in a 20-minute special over a year ago and thought, oh, this guy is hysterical. And then Netflix, he was so popular, Netflix gave him his own special, and he's really funny. So Nate Bargatze, that's who we're watching these days. And I'm going to pull a card right now, but I want you to focus on the thing that gets your goat, as they say, gets you riled up more than anything else. And it could be more than one thing, and it can be a person. But remember, people represent in life, they are a reflection of you and either the boundaries that you haven't set or the behavior that you have yourself. So keep that in mind. That's a very profound awareness. In a retrograde, you might see someone behaving the same way you do, but suddenly you don't like it. And you're thinking, oh, they're loud, they're crude, they're rude, they're whatever. And then you have to say to yourself, but you know what? I can be just like that. So this is all about perception, right? So we want to be able to see where we're going, not just by where we've been, that's the purpose of a retrograde, but by where we are right now. How do we feel right now? And what's being told to you? Now, lately, I've been getting a lot of information regarding certain subjects, and I've had to disseminate the message from the messenger. And so this has been my pre-phase experience where people are telling me things and it sounds logical, but my body is having a reaction. And so intuitively, I'm thinking two things. One, if I'm having a resistance to something, it either means I don't understand it and I need further time to research, or it's not true for me. So I'd like you to go there as well. If you are having a conversation with someone, or you read something, or you're watching television and you hear a newscast report, or you're, reading the data on a new vitamin, whatever it is, if you feel resistance, first I want you to check. Am I resistant because I don't understand it? Or am I resistant because it's just not true for me? And it's okay not to have data to back up your truth. How many times do people say, well, where'd you come to that? How'd you come to that assessment? Or why do you believe that? Or prove it. Basically, we don't have to prove anything. If something feels like truth to you, then it's your truth. Then you need to listen to that. So again, my resistance, and it may not work the same way for you, of course, because you're different, but when I feel resistant to something, it's either because I don't understand it and I need more time to process, or it's just not true for me. I'm going to check the chat room. Good morning. Hi, Linda. All right, I'm going to pull a card after I take a sip because my throat's so dry. Oh, it's only like, what is it? 91 outside? Okay. Pulling a card for you. Thank you very much. I don't know. I babble sometimes, even when there's nobody watching. My husband will attest to that. I'll be talking to the stove while I'm cleaning it, and I'll just be saying things. I don't know, whatever comes to mind. Like, there's birds outside and they're tweeting, and then I turn around and my husband will be standing there looking at me. Okay. Okay, you have like your own little show going on there. It's true. I do. Okay, I pulled this one last week. What is that about? Intensity. Hey, it matches my lipstick. Intensity. Okay, that's no joke. It's coming. We've already talked about that. Thank you, angels. All right, I'm going to ask specifically. What energy or focus can we have to negotiate the Mercury in retrograde in Leo? I'm being specific now for the cards and the energy that's coming through me. Specifically for Mercury in retrograde in Leo. Oh, okay. Visualization, which is a huge component of a Leo energy. You need to be able to visualize the passion so that you can act on it. Remember, Leo energy is very, it can be dramatic, but there's a lot of Leos are very quiet and shy, but what they can see and foresee for themselves and others and for a project, so if you're writing something, if you've got to plan a meeting, if you're working on gathering the kids for a picnic or, an outing, there's a lot of visualizing involved. Now Mercury in retrograde, how to negotiate, the best way to negotiate Mercury in retrograde in Cancer. That's a completely different energy. It's more inward, it's more nurturing, it's more emotional, sometimes defensive and sarcastic. And Leo energy can get very defensive as well. Doesn't want to be made to feel unrecognized or invalidated. And so then the wound goes up. But for Cancer, the energy has more to do with the tides, right? And saying one thing, feeling another way. And so so here's the card. Oh, well, that makes sense. Okay. Polarity. I think things sound more official with a British accent, don't you? Here we have polarity. And polarity for Cancer is most definitely meaning the swing between feeling high, feeling low, feeling righteous, feeling like a victim, feeling that you don't want to, but yet you go ahead and do it because you want to nurture, you want to take care of someone, and you just do it. And then you get angry, and then you get caustic, and then you get defensive, and then you get sarcastic, or you just hide, or you cry. So there's a whole lot of energy moving on around these energies, these Mercury retrogrades. So Linda says Aries, Sun, Virgo rising. Intense is your middle name. Well, I think you'll have a one-woman show coming up pretty soon, right? I am definitely going to be back on Thursday, June 20th at 10 o'clock Pacific, Arizona time. And so please come back and we'll talk more about what's going on here. And in the meantime, if you don't have your chart, I want you to have it for free. It's my gift to you. You can go to, and Dean will post the link somewhere in here. And that's astrologylifechart.com. And you can plug in the information, get your complimentary birth chart, and also a very personal video that I made for your sun sign. You don't want to miss that, do you? Well, okay. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? What's the overarching theme right now in your life? Give me one word on your overarching theme. Mine is information. I have been researching and learning so much. First of all, I'm working on the research for my 4th book. I haven't even written the 3rd one, and I'm editing the first 2. So there's a lot of information in my head. And also, I've been dealing with so many articles and research data on health and healing. So I've learned all this wonderful, great stuff. And in the very near future, I'm going to be presenting that to you to help you as well. So your chart is so helpful. Thank you. Wendy, you're so welcome. I'm so glad. And let's see. Oh, yeah, Dean, there's the link right there. Right there. I'm pointing right to it. Can you see it? There it is. Let's see. So my past 30 days has been filled with data and information. And then I have to just come out of the head space and get into the intuitive body space. So where are you? What's your word? Trust. Anne says trust, learning how to trust. And you know what's interesting is that in a Mercury in retrograde, especially if you have Leo in your chart, and Annie, I know that you do, it brings out the why behind the issue. And anytime a person feels, Linda says, I'm trying to get my balance. Okay, so we want balance, we want trust, we want to be centered, we want to be that Mojo Mystic that you know you can be. That is being as present as possible, number one. breathing through any moment that does not feel harmonious. So balance and trust and any other issue that you might have is going to start with, are you caring for your body, mind, and spirit equally? That's the first question. And if you already know, no, I'm spinning, I'm running, I've got stuff to do, I forgot to eat. Okay, well, all the help and support in the world is not going to help you unless you're helping yourself. So it's got to start with you, right? You eat well, you are hydrated, you take the vitamins and minerals and supplements that you need, and trace minerals as well. And then it comes down to, what is your brain doing? And if your brain is overwhelmed or overloaded, you have to check all the systems in your body. Again, it comes back to, are you eating well? Are you rested? Cortisol spikes. There's several kinds of stress. And the one that hurts the most, and not all stress hurts, but the one that really works against you is the one that spikes cortisol. And cortisol will, wreak havoc on your adrenals. So what is the impetus to get going? And there's really, you can know the answer. And some people say, well, I just have to stay up at night. When everybody goes to bed, I just have to have my own alone time. But yet you're exhausted in the morning because you stayed up late at night. So it doesn't really make sense, does it? So maybe there's another way you can orchestrate your day to have alone time by setting boundaries. Or some people say, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss something. Our daughter is like that. And that's big if you have Uranus in the first house. And everyone I know who has Uranus in their chart in the first house is always, what's happening over there? I got to do that. I got to go there. I got so much to do. I have to orchestrate people. And then boom, adrenal fatigue, right? So it's okay to not do stuff, really. Who's going to tell you otherwise unless you do it for yourself? Overthinking is your demon. Okay, so what's the opposite of overthinking for you, Linda? Now, did you just tell me you like my British accent? Thank you. Oh, so you're an Aries sun with a Virgo rising. So you're fueled by Mercury and Mars. So a wonderful thing for people who are overthinking, and then we're going to wrap this up. For people who are overthinking and it's hard to, calm it down, those amino acids that I recommended earlier, also add melatonin to that list. And melatonin, by the way, is it's great for calming down the mind, but it also acts as a huge antioxidant and immune booster. So if your adrenals are down, if you have had illnesses and your immune system is really compromised, melatonin before bed. Now you can start with three milligrams. Check with your healthcare professional. Do your own research. I am not prescribing or diagnosing or doing any of that or curing. That's up to you. But up to 20 milligrams a night can boost your immune system. That is clinically proven. So if you're run down, you're having a hard time, melatonin before bed. It takes the edge off. It takes that need to be driven towards something where you don't even know where you're going. So just calm that down. So I want to add that to the list of things. Okay, melatonin. Yeah. It's easy. It's so simple. There are so many simple, wonderful things that you can do using music, meditation, turn off the tech and the tech, turn it off 2 hours before you go to bed. People who go to bed with their cell phones will have a harder time remembering their dreams, a harder time staying asleep, a harder time feeling calmer, because the electromagnetic energy that comes out of a cell phone, unless it's completely shut off, it disrupts the communication between your cells. Let's do everything we can to calm things down now that we're in a pre-phase in a Mercury in retrograde. Can we do that? Yes, we can. Are you a Mojo Mystic? Yes, you are. All right, folks, I will be back on Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, Arizona time. That's 11 Mountain. That is noon Central. That is 1 Eastern. And we're going to talk more about Mercury in retrograde and what your overall arching angst is. So once we get that, maybe we can start to calm it down. So come back and really come to me on Thursday morning and talk to me about your angst. And maybe we can help calm things down for you while we're in this pre-phase Mercury in retrograde. All right, folks, be well, be sparkly. I wish you peace always. Thank you.